In this video, we are connecting the male and female lace monitor enclosures for breeding purposes. Then I am going to explore the gardens outside the Orange County Convention Center. It has some of the most beautiful landscape in all of Central Florida. Let's take a look.
There's our beautiful male lace monitor winding up to give me a little smack. It's amazing when you get these guys in the sun and the heat. They really show you their true attitude. But he's not a bad lizard. He lets me get close. I can even touch him. He's just letting me know, like, hey, look, I want nothing to do with you at the moment, so I'm gonna respect that. He ate a huge meal this week, a huge meal. And we were happy about it because he's been very finicky about food ever since we put his girlfriend next door. He's had his mind on other things. So now that he's getting used to her being next door, his appetite is coming back. But you can tell he has had a huge meal and he doesn't eat anything at the moment. I just offered and he refused it. So, all right, so we are connecting our two lace monitor exhibits there. We are on the female side. She's just up there basking, ignoring us. And KJ's already put together this centerpiece here. It's got two different lanes. They'll both be heated for them to be warm in the winter. And of course, it'll introduce both exhibits to where the male can come visit his lady when we open up the doors to give them access for potential breeding. So we gotta chop this wall down. Voila. All right, now they can get into the shift. Look at that. And we'll put a drop door right here, similar to how we did the sulcata, and we'll put a lock on that. So they'll be nice and secured when they're in there for the winter. And then once she's ready, we'll allow them access for breeding. She's just completely ignoring us. Sometimes she's very curious when we're in here working. Sometimes she's just waiting for that sun to hit her. But such an awesome Bell's phase lace monitor. These guys love to climb trees. They're extremely fast. Chasing them in Australia was fun. We didn't see any of the Bell's phase, but we did see some lace monitors, and they are fast. Look at that tongue flicking. It's a very curious lizard. And I did have my hands on some snails earlier, so I don't really want to offer her my hand to smell for obvious reasons, but she's not a mean lizard by any means. And this, folks, is why you bury wire in your monitor exhibits, because they will get out. You can see she did a little test dig and hit the wire down there. Maybe hard to see, but monitor lizards are all very well-rounded. Tree monitors will still dig. You know, blackthroats will still try to climb. All monitors will try to dig, climb, tunnel, swim. They're all very well-rounded, so even if it's not a species that you expect to try to tunnel out or climb high and test the roof, they absolutely will. So keep that in mind when you're housing these guys outside. And we have the whole entire floor wired here. There's quite a bit of soil on it, so it's hard to see, but the only space that we cut out and we filled in the gap with concrete was around this tree here, this living tree that's in the exhibit. But the entire floor from end to end has wire underneath that soil. And I'm sure she's tested it in multiple spots, and that's just the first time that I've noticed it. But they will try, even if you give them the best life possible, they always want to try to see if there's an opening or a weakness in the exhibit. They will find it. All right, KJ's got the dropped in door finished up. The moment of truth. Let's see how it fits.
Perfect.
Oh, look at that.
Mint.
Blush.
Couldn't ask for anything better than that.
And then we'll put a little latch on it to make sure that they don't upturn that door and squeak in there. And it's nice and secure.
Perfect.
All right, so here is the outside look of our introduction / heat shift. You know, one of the next things we want to do is have the electricians come out and put plugs on not just this, but all of our exhibits that we're doing, and we'll be doing that before winter. So this one has access to the male. So you saw from the inside that he has that door there that just lifts up, and he can come through this shift up to that point. Now, same thing with the female. Her side lifts up, and she can go through her door on the other side, through that side, up to that point. So they have their own individual heat shifts, right? So in winter, they're not on top of each other. He's not trying to, you know, be pushy with breeding or anything when the focus should be staying warm. So they have their own individual heat shifts. Now we have this center divider here. This center divider comes out and allows access to be one big shift. And that also means it allows access to go from exhibit A to exhibit B. So this is going to be an introduction hallway, essentially, to let them, you know, use both exhibits, really, to meet each other, see each other, potentially breed and produce for us in the future. But also, again, you know, double as a heat shift to keep them warm in the winter. This is going to be a really good thing for them. And then, you know, if they end up getting along really well and he's not very pushy with her when it comes to breeding, and he's like a gentle male and not always trying to get on top of her, then if they get along really well, we can leave this open throughout the summer permanently, and they can just take full advantage of both exhibits. How cool would that be for them both to have an entire 2 exhibits with a connector to you know, just live their life and do their thing. He's up there getting some sun, looking at me. But yeah, that's the plan for our lace monitors. You know, hopefully in the future we can produce some eggs and you know, provide a good life for some of the babies. But you know, the end goal is just to make sure that they're comfortable, happy, and that they're warm throughout the winter. If they decide to breed for us, obviously that's a really cool bonus. But this is going to basically hit all those needs that we have for these lace monitors. Soon we'll open up that door and let her explore her new shifts. But she hasn't been coming over to us up until just now. It got pretty hot just now, and she's become pretty curious all of a sudden. It could also be because we're not running any more power tools at the moment. But she's all over KJ there. Just a really good looking lace monitor. And again, we have no food with us. This is just a simple interaction, you know, working on the trust building and the desensitization, and she's just able to trust us. You know, obviously we still have to use extreme caution, and we're taking a big risk letting her do things like this, but we understand that risk, and you know, we try to limit that risk down as much as possible. You know, we have no food with us. We've washed our hands. You know, we have no tongs with us, and it's out of the routine. We've been in here for a while, so normally we pop in, offer food right away if we're gonna do that. So she's just checking us out right now. Just a very curious lizard. Such an awesome personality this thing has. And KJ was just talking about, you know, controlled risk, and when we do let her smell our hands, you can see his hand is closed. There's no loose fingers or anything like that, to where she could resemble something as a small rodent or a piece of food. It's less likely to bite a big old hand other than a little finger sticking out. So she's trying to get behind you. She might try to climb on you here. She's just checking you out. How those claws feel?
Not too bad at the moment. She's not putting a whole lot of pressure on me.
That's good. Yeah, she is all over her trees and her logs, so it does help a little bit with the nails being filed down naturally. What we've got going on right now is we've got her side open, right? So she can come all the way up to here, and she's in there getting her scent all over things, and you know, in there getting comfortable. And as soon as we feel that she's acclimated to that shift, we'll open his side up and let him get in there and smell her and see how he behaves. And we'll take the introduction slow and safely because he is the much larger lizard. All right, our sulcata tortoise is coming out to have breakfast. We gotta make this guy a cool little food tray next, but what we've just done for him is build him his house. So that door actually slides in just like that, closes that shut, and then we'll be able to lock him in on cold nights. That'll have, you know, heat in there on a thermostat, but he's got a big 6 foot by 4 foot house, and that's gonna do him wonders. He's already found it and started to nuzzle in, you can tell. But he's coming out for some breakfast now. I was curious what he'd go for first, if he liked the greens or the pellets more. He took one bite of the greens and then he went straight for those pellets. But this is the Missouri tortoise diet, so it's good for him. Now, sulcatas are from Africa, so they can have a similar climate to Florida's highs and lows temperature-wise, but you know, I have seen to where we get really cold nights here in Orlando. You know, the upper 30s happens at least once a year, and sulcatas and some other animals that are typically known to be more cold tolerant will still get a runny nose, still get mucusy, you know, signs of an upper respiratory infection. So we don't want to risk any of that happening and having to bring our friend here to the vet. So this will be equipped with heat, and again, it'll be on a thermostat, and he'll be able to get in here, stay nice and warm, and we'll secure him in to keep all the wind out. And I think he's really liking his new house already, because we found him in there only an hour after it was built. So
We are here at the Orlando Convention Center. I came down with my friends Jerry and Kagan from Wolf's World. Kagan has just started her own fishing channel, and they are looking for some new gear for her. All different types of fishing lures, rods, reels, nets, you name it, they're looking for it. And while they do this, I'm going to go outside and take a look at the beautiful landscape. I've always been in love with this landscape ever since I came to Florida 15 years ago. I came here and I dreamed about all this gorgeous landscaping, wanted to know if I could someday have it. I was in this little single wide mobile home, just hoping that I could someday get my nursery off the ground. And I thought this place was so, so beautiful. And I was completely awestruck by all these plants here. I know nothing about landscape architect or anything. How do they mix colors? How do they mix textures? So I'd see the cordyline with the wart fern, with the tricolored dracaena, and then Chinese fan palm in the background. And then I'd continue to walk down here, and I'd see similar, they got the crotons, they got the cordylines, they still got the wart fern. I could see like a repeated motif with the same plants and just mixing them differently. A lot of times in the comments, people ask, what should I plant in my yard? You go around your neighborhood and you find landscapes that you like. This is the red copperleaf, this is the white copperleaf, or the yellow copperleaf, Java white. I love the way they look good together. I want to add green to this. I love adding a banana to this mix, and then something flowering, like a pagoda flower or something, clerodendron pagoda flower. It looks very Hawaii-ish, if that's a word. That is the biggest angel trumpet I'd have ever seen. That is 35 feet across. This is more formal than a lot of stuff I got at Holt Nurseries. Maybe someday I could do more of a formal garden. You know, they use the stones, they use the little pebbles, and they use the big rocks, and they have grass. This is a very shady location. Once again, I look for ideas. I see the Song of India, I see the croton, I see the bromeliads, and the orange bird of paradise looks fantastic too. I love the way they use elevation in the garden. You see how we start here at like ground level, and then we have a sloping hill? Most of my plantings, everything is on the flat. I got a little bit of elevation, but I just love the elevation here. And I love some of the plant choices they have here. They have the Australian tree fern and Tibicina. The Tibicina comes from Brazil. If you go much north of Orlando, you can't grow it because it freezes. It's really just the tourist district in the Orlando area where you see a lot of these Tibicinas. You see the tree ferns. The tree ferns love to grow on the edge. They like to get half sun, half shade. and you get a much more beefy plant. And this is one of the places in the Orlando area that I fell in love with the tree fern. Not only is blue a unique color in the landscape, purple is a unique color. And nothing gives you this purple look like the Purple Heart Tradescanthia. It's a great succulent ground cover. Down here we can use it year-round, but up north you can use it as an annual. Look at this magnificent triple bottle palm. You know, I don't know if we're going through global warming or not, but Orlando is becoming Zone 10A, Zone 10B, and that allows you to grow these magnificent bottle palms. So what they did is they put 3 little seedlings in a pot, fast forward 10, 15 years, and this is what you end up with. No running water here, but look how they give the illusion of water by using boulders, smaller stones, and all these pebbles. And in the foreground, you get all these beautiful bromeliads. It looks really cool. Look how awesome this place looks. It looks so tropical, and this was such an inspiration to me when I first came here. I love the signage. I love these Australian tree ferns. Man, someday I'm gonna have them this big in my yard. I can't wait. Well, earlier in this video, I said how much they like half sun. It's pretty dark back here, but these are magnificent tree ferns. So I don't know, maybe they can take some pretty deep shade, because this is pretty deep shade back here. These are canary palms. I got a few in my yard. Maybe the most in-demand phoenix palm there is for Central Florida. Then at the ground cover here, they got some cardboard palms, some zamia. You can look, they have more cordylines and chefliras for color. They got some crepe myrtles, which has interesting bark, and it has these either white or pink or red flowers. I saw this for the first time back in 2004, 11 years ago. And this little section here just blew me away. I remembered it, so when I bought the Fort Pierce house, I made something that looks like this. I saw the 2 triple bottle palms with the crotons and with the foxtail fern. It looks okay now, but back in 2004, it just took my breath away. I remember it like it was yesterday. Look at these crotons. It's just like glowing orange. This is about half grown. If you want this gaudy orange look in your landscape, then this is the plant for you. This goes on for a mile. Some people ask me what inspired me the most. Was it Disney World or was it the convention center? And I don't know, guys, you know, flip a coin, but this looks really cool. I've been coming here for 11 years and look how maintained it looks. It looks like a botanical garden. This place is very special. We will see you next week, and don't forget to like and subscribe.